over everything. They do this in prime time, under the bright lights for you on the sidelines. The fans in the stands keeping doubly pride high. The gridiron fly guys, the green and the gold, yeah, they call it the franchise. The gizmos, the miles, the moves, the Keflies, old spaghetti legs. Ricky Ray, Willie Bless, and whoever comes next to bring back the chip and add another brick to the legacy. Cause it's double E over everything. Double E's a legacy. Double E over everything. Double E, we rising up.
In an effort to not let their playoff dreams take a severe hit, the Edmonton Elks turn to McLeod Bethel Thompson as they head to Winnipeg, looking to split the home and home. The opponent, a daunting task. Winners of 6 straight looking to punch their ticket to the playoffs in front of a sold-out home crowd and a team that has beat Edmonton in their last 11 meetings. Edmonton, they're hoping to eliminate turnovers and build off of their running attack. It's the Elks, it's Bombers, it's Friday Night Football, but first, this is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show live on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as for those watching on YouTube. Iwanyk and Jay Milne with you live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. As this show starts, our race at number 7 at Santa Anita is coming to an end. That Jay, Reed, and myself are all on. I don't know who's right there. Is that a number 3? Who won? Well, that wasn't who won. I just wanted to know who won. Okay. We're live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge where we've been all season. Tonight's going to be a special one, though, because...
2-3.
2-3?
Looks like the 2-3.
Well, which one won?
2.
I got 3. Tonight's going to be a special one here at Century Casino because it's a watch party where a bunch of the EST crew is going to be here. Reed's sticking around. We've got Dusty, Tommy, Trev, Zach, Hernan, Gager coming by. So lots happening. We're watching the game here. Jay's got a wing eating contest going. A couple contestants already here. Who's in on it?
We've got Big Uke, Zachary, Dash in the Park, Bryce the Sparky, Joe Not Exotic, and Dawson Nielsen.
Oh, it's a photo finish.
3-1.
Number 3, baby. I'm back. Hasn't been a good start for me today, but that might bring me back. We're going to have a wing inning contest with tickets to the next Elks game on the line, which is next weekend against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And we're going to just watch a fun football game together. I'm going to be nervous because I'm in my CFL Fantasy Football Final. So I'm going to be, and I've got a lot of players in this game coming up tonight between the Elks and the Bombers. Your thoughts always welcome, 780-218-9999. That is the Parish Jewelers inbox. Or you could jump into the Nasty Chat. But let's get going in this game, and let's start by looking at the Edmonton Elks starting lineup with McLeod Bethel Thompson as the starter. I'm almost done.
Don't worry, man.
We have a different setup today because of Reed and Jay's afternoon show, and we're just getting used to that fully.
It's okay.
MBT, the starting quarterback, the men protecting him from left to right. Ivy, Foucault, Cordy, Richards, and Boyko. Lewis, Gittins Jr., Mitchell, Jones, and Mathis are the starting receivers. Ranking being the starting running back with Kevin Brown being his backup in shots is the fullback. Defensively, the D-line, Curtis Pele, Oakman, and Brown. The linebacking core, Morgan Anderson and Moncrief. In the secondary, Gray, Lewis, Purifoy, Jackson, and Bynum Beatty kicking. And Julian continues to punt because he's just that good at it. The injury report.
Gavin Cobb out with a thigh injury. Phil Grahovic, offensive lineman, out. Javon Leake out with a thigh injury. Not out last week, other than he was away from the team this week. Thigh injury, so, big part of the team. Drawing into the lineup, and it's been a while, is local former Golden Bear Josiah Shackle, who is a special teams wizard out there. And oddly enough, Maddie, do you see who's backing up Jay Min Pelly at defensive tackle?
Plamondon.
Jacob Plamondon. Where else have you seen him start this year? At fullback. He's their short yardage fullback. Now they've transferred him to defensive line. They are dressing, as far as the depth chart goes, 9 defensive linemen. Do you think they want to get some more pressure?
Well, Schatz is also a defensive lineman.
Zott is an offensive lineman. And he.
I'm sorry. I was confusing the lines there. Never mind.
No, he's an offensive lineman that they dress now and starting in the fullback role. He was the intended target on the incredible Trey Ford interception last week. That is your injury report.
Just with Mathis starting over the injured Gavin Cobb, we're going to see him. The Elks use up a first round pick to get him in the supplemental draft. 6'7", 203.
Yeah.
Like, they've added some beef overall all over the place on the lines.
There is some beef. It's a matter of if Mathis can get some targets tonight. As a number one draft pick, hasn't panned out, I don't think, the way anybody would have thought.
Number 3, 1080. I think that get 1080.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, but you had a 3 and a 5.
I had them both to win.
Oh, why don't you just take all the horses next time?
I had 2 horses.
Jeez, man.
I took 2 horses. It's money. I'm done. You could put your stuff here. I'm now done for the rest of the show.
It's good, man.
The Winnipeg players to watch. I don't have a depth chart to throw up on YouTube for the second straight week because Winnipeg doesn't post them until after the game. Because who wants to look at a depth chart before the game? They only do it after the game. Oh, I see Cal in the park and his wife Sarah coming to town. Not coming to town, coming into Century Casino.
No, it's town.
Players to watch for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Zach Collaros, Brady Olivier, obviously offensively. Brady getting those 2 touchdowns last week, his first 2 touchdowns of the season. Right now, probably the favorite to win MOP. And defensively, they got Willie Jefferson. They also got Trey Ford's brother, Terrell Ford. We don't have to deal with the brother. You don't have to hear that today. The brother v. brother situation that you weren't fully into.
When you're from Sherwood Park and you come into Edmonton, you're going into town. So you were right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Weather-wise, out in Winnipeg, it's expected to be about 20 degrees. Wind anywhere between 20 kilometers to start. It's supposed to go down to a 10, so the wind might be a little bit of a factor. We'll see how that fully plays out. By the time the game ends, about 18 degrees. To come on the Green and Gold Kickoff Show, we will hear from McLeod Bethel-Thompson, the quarterback for the Edmonton Elks. We'll get to our Coolbet props of the game, keys to an Elks victory, prediction, 3 stories brought to you by James H. Brown. We'll get to the question of the show momentarily here, but we are at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where every day is game day. The daily special, it is the quesadillas for $10.99. The Combine crew's already crushed them. Jason's already crushed them.
How'd they look tonight?
Amazing. They were all like, this is delicious. Norm's got to go to work. I think he's ordered another one to take to work with him for later.
Yeah, it's just too good of a...
They are delicious, and they're $10.99. The game day special, it is the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14.99 with those waffle fries. That's what you can get from now until an hour after the game. And the 6 o'clock lager, it's been on special since 3 o'clock, but that's also something you can grab here. So come on down, join us for the game here at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Question of the show. I've thought about this one for a little bit.
Kids, we talked about it earlier,
Yes.
but I never like to know what the ultimate decision is.
And I didn't go with what you wanted.
Okay, that's perfectly
I didn't
fine.
go with that one. I found a different one.
You're entitled to that.
So the question I have today, what is your confidence in the Elks at this moment? And I had 3 options, and Twitter only allows so many characters. But the first option is very high. They're still going to make the playoffs. Fully confident. I got one nervous, but still feeling good. So yeah, I'm still believing, but cautiously optimistic, if you will. And then it's low. They're toast. They're done. After last week's loss, it's finished. Jay, where is your confidence right now with the Edmonton Elks? Going into last week, 5-6, people were very high on this team. After that game last week against Winnipeg here in Edmonton, where is your confidence level at with these Edmonton Elks?
I mean, I'd be hard-pressed to see many people that would just be saying, good, we're still going to make the playoffs. I am going to align myself with option B, which is nervous but still optimistic. And I do not believe this is finished. We've been saying all year that leading up to, especially after the start, okay, the Labor Day series was huge. Well, we swept that. Then Nostramatis over here had to say that this has to be a split. Okay, there's still an opportunity to split here. It's not favorable for the Double E, but there's still a chance. So I'm going to say optimistic. What are we at, Maddie?
Not the most votes, so I'm going to attribute it to that. But low. They're toast. Leads with over 50% of the vote.
Yeah, okay. Well,
40% of the vote is nervous but still good. 8.3 saying, nope, still believe in them. They're going to go make this playoffs. They're fine. I don't know how you could say they're toast.
Okay, if you were listening, if you were watching, go to Edmonton Sports Talk on X and vote and voice your opinion. And while you're at it, hammer that thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to Edmonton Sports Talk. It's worth your while.
Today is a big game. You called last week a must-win. This week...
This is a must-win with caps locks.
Yeah.
Like Joel style.
The Elks don't have a lot of room for error anymore.
That's right.
The 0-7 season didn't afford them a lot, and that loss last week really hurts things because the Saskatchewan Roughriders beat Calgary. Now they're 3 points back of a playoff spot. Now, if they lose tonight, they're not done. The path is there. Even if Saskatchewan beats Ottawa tomorrow, they're 5 points back, but these two teams play next week. And if you go take care of that business, okay, there's a path there for you. Is it a likely path? No, it's not there. And then we have to look at, okay, what would work with crossovers and things like that. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to need a lot of help for that to happen. If Ottawa beats Saskatchewan tomorrow, then all bets are off. Things are a lot easier for the Edmonton Elks. But you need this game because, at worst case, you want to be going into that Saskatchewan game with like that 3 point.
Yes.
Where if you go get the win, it's only one more game you need to make up the rest of the way.
Yep.
You can't be needing like Saskatchewan to lose the rest of the way. The one reason I'm concerned more, so it's not about the Elks. I think they can go rattle off 3 straight after this, depending what happens today. I think Saskatchewan, after that win, they needed that win.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot to take them down. That even if Edmonton takes them down next week, they've got Ottawa this week, they've got Calgary, and they've got BC. It's not Murderers Row that they're dealing with.
Well, Calgary is a winnable game for sure.
For them. I think Ottawa for them. Right now I'm looking at Ottawa to lose to Saskatchewan.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Who did you pick in the pick'em? Or we did by the spread.
Yeah, Saskatchewan's favored.
Mm-hmm. I think 2.5 points.
I took Ottawa.
Yeah, and I don't know what to make of Ottawa this year because they're all up and down. For the Elks' sake, absolutely. Was it you today that was talking about the road teams?
Yeah. Well, I did on the Hangout, yes. Yeah. But that was initially Reed that brought it up.
Well, I didn't hear that, so you could have taken full credit there.
You know, I don't like to do that, especially to my co-host, Reed, the man, the myth, the legend.
The thing is, if you're looking at this weekend, the 2 days, you want the away team to do well. Elks away at Winnipeg. You've got Hamilton tomorrow against BC. You want BC to lose to keep the ground there close. You've got Toronto and Montreal tomorrow. No, huge. Montreal in Toronto. So you want Montreal to beat Toronto if you're looking at the crossover. Yeah. And you want Ottawa to beat Saskatchewan because then, look, the Elks could be 1 point back of Saskatchewan after this weekend. That's where I'm just more surprised with the question of the show. Nervous but still good isn't leading.
Has it moved much?
No. It has not.
God bless you people. That's great.
But yeah, that's like I just would have figured people after one loss wouldn't have thrown in the towel as much. But when you're going to Winnipeg after having had them at home, I do kind of understand that because the Bombers, they've beaten this team 11 straight games. They're on a 6-game win streak. They're looking to clinch their playoff spot. I understand where this could be a little bit more difficult. So there you go. There's I lied.
And just before you get too far into it, I want to say this was a week of ESC babies, right? You weren't. I think Belzy had it happened.
I didn't know if that was announced or not.
I think so.
Okay.
Certainly hope so, but whatever. I mean, what are you going to do? People will know eventually. I don't know. Shoot.
I know he wasn't on the Hangout this week.
Okay. Thanks.
Because
he's been busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Don't put this. I don't know what's been out there or not.
Well, they were all talking about it.
Perfect.
But
then you're good.
If it was on air or not. Oh, God. Anyways, Babbage Statue's always been a listener for EST, and he's always chimed in, especially during our show. He's definitely listened to the Green and Gold Kickoff show and the postgame show. Fellas, I've acquired a junior. He sent in a picture.
Oh.
We got a new nasty and a member of the Elks herd here, fellas. He's ready for his first kickoff, and oddly enough, he told me he's cheering for you, Maddie, in the Dunya. Let's get him an Elks W. I mean, for that alone, this is changing my Coolbet pick of the, it's changing it.
Okay. When you get to your pick of the game, or prop of the game?
It's happening.
Okay, can I quickly go selfish radio here and go through both? Right now, the lineup has been sent in by myself, the Sacramento Gold Miners, and the San Antonio Texans, and Lucas Holt.
You got 2 minutes.
Chad Kelly, Eugene Lewis, Justin McInnes, Kenny Lawler.
Who's this, your team?
My team.
Okay.
Kadeem Carey, Brady Oliveira, Winnipeg, Sergio Castillo are my starters, who I have not played. Justin Rankin, Greg Bell, as running backs. I have not played Dominic Rhymes, Tim White, or Shamir Bridges as wide receivers. The San Antonio Texans, Trevor Harris, Justin Hardy, Polk from Toronto, Keshawn Johnson from the Riders, Walter Fletcher from Montreal, Brett Lawther, Toronto, Mark Leggio.
Ooh, Matty, I like your decision to not start Justin Rankin, I'm just going to say.
Why?
Why? Because I think they're going to key on him.
Okay. The reason I'm actually going with Kadeem Carey, because they're going against Montreal, I looked at the numbers over the last 5 weeks of Montreal. The running backs have gotten over 100 yards all-purpose in almost every one of those. That defense does not do well against that run defense. And we will get to that Justin Rankin storyline momentarily here. It will be fascinating to see what he can do as the starter, because that is a completely different thing. But with that, let's get to our 3 stories.
Heavy is the crown that lay upon their head. Is that what they say?
I don't know.
Being a starting running back.
Let's get to our 3 stories, which is brought to you by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. When accidents happen, go to jameshbrown.com. Iwanyk and Jay Milne with you here on the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Elks Bombers coming up just after 6 o'clock out at Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg. The first storyline is McLeod Bethel Thompson getting the start as opposed to Trey Ford. We were here on Saturday during the post-game show. We threw up the question on the YouTube chat, who should start? It was 65% in our YouTube chat thought Trey Ford should start. 35% said MBT. You thought Trey Ford should start. I thought I would go with Trey Ford, but I also said Jarius Jackson, if he goes the other way, which I think he might, I can't criticize it too much based on that performance of Trey Ford. Do you want to start with this change, or do you want to actually just look at what MBT brings to the table?
The change has been talked about. The change is done. The change is over with. We've beat that like a dead horse for enough time. I know you were off this week, but we did. You'll have to take my word for it.
I would assume you guys talked about it. I would hope you guys talked about it a lot this week.
Look, MBT, here's how I can justify this, is that they are rushing consistently 3 defenders. Maybe they mix in the odd 4th. And they were containing Trey Ford. They were not allowing him, they weren't necessarily bullying him in the pocket, but they were making sure that they keep your contain, keep, just pressure. And make Trey Ford throw out of the pocket. Well, that didn't really work that well last week. They have committed to a heavy defensive style, more of what we'd call a nickel style in football played south of the border. But MBT is the answer if you have a pocket that can be created. He can throw out of the pocket, albeit, had his struggles throwing the deep ball. But nonetheless, I do think if you're looking for a pure pocket passer to try and take on this defense, and it's a funny thing with their defense is they will give you chunks here and there. They're not going to give up the deep shot, but take your chunks. Live with that. You can win a football game if you have chunks and if you have running backs, which they do, and they're capable of completing those shorter passes, is MBT. So, yeah, I think... I think there's a chance that he could, very much so succeed tonight, given that. Because they didn't seem to be pressuring. Now, of course, they're going to game plan for MBT. So they're going to bring more pressure. Probably you'll see more blitzes this week than he did last week. But that offensive line has played well. The running game is moving and rolling. So, yeah, I think there's a chance that MBT could succeed. The scary thing here is Winnipeg is 36-5 at home since 2019, Matty. This is not an easy place to go. Is Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg.
And it's sold out tonight.
It's sold out. It's not an easy place to go pick up a W.
It's not. No, but one thing we saw last week is we pointed out a few times in that game, the pocket was there to stay in and stand in there, make a throw, and Trey ran out of it right away. And that's not MBT's game. He's not going to look for that. We've seen him actually run a few times in the last little stretch, but that is like last resort. He sees it, he goes.
Yeah.
That's maybe what Jarius is looking at here, is just he wants that veteran guy to sit there knowing, okay, yeah, Winnipeg's this great defense, but just trust your players and just stand in your pocket and make those plays. I do want to run some MBT stats numbers by you.
Give her.
This is his first 7 games when he started 0-7. He averaged 255 yards passing per game. He threw 9 touchdowns in those 7 games, which included 3 games where he didn't throw a touchdown pass, and one game where he only threw one touchdown pass, and he had 7 interceptions. So 255, 9 TDs, 7 interceptions in 7 games. MBT, I took the BC game out of it because he came in relief of Trey Ford. In his 4 starts, Hamilton, Montreal, Calgary, which is only 4 games, 3-1, 285 yards passing per game, so 30 yards more in those 4 games.
Yeah.
9 touchdowns. The exact same amount of touchdowns thrown as those first 7 games he did in 4 games. Every game was minimum 2 touchdowns thrown as well, and only 1 interception.
Yeah.
I'm a Trey Ford guy. I love Trey Ford. But they made a move which I agreed with of going to Trey Ford last week, and they took the ball out of a guy who had the hot hand. It's only right that the guy with the hot hand gets the ball this week then.
Yep.
I don't think that's an unfair thing to Trey Ford. I don't think that's an unfair thing to the roster or anyone. I think if you stand in there and explain why MBT is getting the ball today, I don't think there should be any real complaints. Now, you could sit there and say long-term this isn't good. Long-term, maybe this isn't great for Trey Ford. But I think if you're a professional, you have to understand that you didn't play well last week, and the other guy has been playing well. That it's not the MBT of the 0-7, 9 TDs, 7 interceptions that they're putting back out there. It's the guy that this team thought they were going to get this year that you're putting back out there. And I don't know if you saw Farhan's report, Hernan was telling me about it, where there's discussions already happening about long-term of keeping Trey here and him being the starter next year, which is perfectly fine then.
It's just not ready, clearly not ready right now. But that you can develop that. He's young. He's 26 years old.
And in the end, you had 2 options for last week. You went with the guy because he came back from an injury. Didn't want to lose his job from injury. Well, now you have a guy who was playing hot. He took the ball from. He deserves a shot at this.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what MBT can do today. And with this pressure, how long's that leash he's going to get is the other question. I think it would have to be kind of like...
Hi, Andrea.
It would have to be Trey Ford-esque performance last week for me to think, well, Trey should go out there in the 4th quarter. You can't pull him at half.
Well,
MBT's got to have a 3 quarters minimum.
Dustin agreed. That leash is going to be a little bit longer tonight because you can't just keep doing this and saying you have to just go with your horse, and if it works out, it does. Now, I'm going to give you another stat, Maddie, because...
Is this the stat you...
Yeah, this is the one I cooked up.
Okay.
All right?
I'm excited.
So... Trey Ford has passed the ball 63 times. He has turned the ball over. He has thrown 3 interceptions. That's 1 interception per 21 throws. Okay? MBT has thrown the ball 393 times. This season, he's turned the ball over 9 times, interceptions. That's 1 every 43. Trey Ford's rate of interception, and this, I don't care that last week he threw 3. I don't care. That's part of the stats. Is that he is almost double, or for every 2 passes he throws compared to MBT, one of them is going to be picked off.
Now, I'll argue with that and say there's a larger sampler size for MBT to grow that as opposed to Trey Ford.
Sure.
I could argue that part of it, but at the same time, I bet if we did MBT's numbers from the first 7 games, it would be closer to what Trey was at.
He's turned it around.
But he then got pulled.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Like, that's why we were saying he needs to be out.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, is both have had their moments of, okay, this guy looks like a hot garbage.
Yep.
They both had that moment. It's just now, and it's part of the, it's a J. Jack and G. Roy Simon decision. I'll tell you that. Their backs are against the wall. They are fighting to come back as the GM and head coach of next year. They are fighting for that. If they make the playoffs, if the Edmonton Elks make the playoffs, they will be back. Mark my words. No 0-7 team has ever made the playoffs in CFL history. If they do, they are back. That is what they are fighting for. They feel it's best, and they are game planning for tonight's game, and that is it.
Yep.
And putting MBT, who is a pocket passer, that's the way they decided to go.
And I will say this, just moving forward, like, all I wanted from this whole season was to know that Trey Ford would be the starting quarterback in 2025. I was fine with the idea that MBT could have started all season, knowing that, okay, he's learning and he's got that contract for next year. Hearing today that from Hernan that Farhan had the report yesterday that there was discussions and they want him to be the guy next year, I'm even more okay with this going, let him learn what it's like to be in this playoff push from the sidelines. There's nothing wrong with that at that point. And to your point, like Jarius and G-Word, they are trying to get their jobs.
And I will say that Mick from Beaumont and Andrew both said that Tommy let the cat out of the bag earlier.
Well, Rip City said Belsey texted in the baby's name. Dusty was jealous of how cool the name was.
Oh, I'm so nervous about that.
You're good. I'm always extra cautious with that.
Yeah,
so I will say that. I'm always extra cautious. I don't want to be the one that says the news beforehand. I will ask, what was the name, though? If it was such a cool name, what was the name of Belsey's kid? And I'll have to send Belsey a congratulations. He sent me a message on Wednesday saying that he couldn't be on the hangout because they were expecting it, but I always was just also like, I'm not going to be the one that congratulates before I get the news. So
Adam S. in the Nasty Chat, I just want to I want to talk to him. He's making some good points. The issue is the guy with the hot hand is bailed out because has an elite receiving corps. Predicting another night incoming of old man throws behind the wide receivers and at their feet, but hoping not. I would believe you in the category of throws behind the wide receivers. He's had a problem with that this year. Accuracy, throwing balls at feet, maybe you're thinking a bit more of a Taylor Cornelius. That was a problem for him. MBT in the short to medium range throws is pretty accurate. I will say that. And that's how you got to beat Winnipeg. They're going to give you that. Like we said, they're going to allow you to dink and doink, so you have to figure it out. And,
well, I'll say, like, the issue is the hot hand is bailed out because of his elite receiving core. I don't care how he's getting bailed out. He was getting the wins.
Yeah.
He was 3-1. So I don't care if you can go find a way to go 4-1 in your last 5 as a starter and putting up these numbers. I don't care if it's all weeks of the receiving core. He was getting it done, and based on last week, Trey, it wasn't even close to getting it done. Trey wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And so let's see what MBT can do. And if he can't get it done, well, they both had their crack at it. I'm not going to sit here today if the Elks lose and be like, well, they should have played Trey because he would have given them a better chance to win. Because Trey had his chance last week. And we'll see what happens from here. This is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with you here. Before we continue in our storylines, do want to throw it out there. No Sandy, for those that are wondering. We still don't know what's going on. I have the theory that after Jay gave him, actually, you gave him 3 times $20.
No, twice.
Was it just twice?
Yeah.
After Jay gave him $40, he came on air one day and said, first thing he saw after he gave Sandy the 20 was in line at the beer. So he's on to us, that we were on to him.
I think he's on the run.
And now he's on the run. He's never going to be seen again.
Think if he showed up here and saw the Combine crew sitting over there and the Godfather, T-Roy,
100%.
he'd think the EST guys brought their goons.
We started bringing up on the air and he went, uh-oh, they're on to me. I can't have this much of a spotlight on me. And he's on the run. God
bless Norman the Combine, by the way. He showed up, had a quesadilla, thought they were so good, he decided to get another for his night shift. He's a welder at night and a Combine by day. What a guy.
The name, by the way, Hendricks, I think, says Vieira Montenegro.
Cool.
Hendricks is a great name.
Hendricks James Dean?
Bell.
Dang. Wow, that is cool. I am jealous of that name.
Our second story of this game, the battle of the running backs. You got Brady Oliveira, who is right now probably the favorite for most outstanding player. Not sure that's 100%. I shouldn't say not deserving, but not sure that's the guy I would necessarily go with. And you got Justin Rankin, who's coming in as the starting running back for the Edmonton Elks. This following a performance last week on 14 carries, 157 yards. The reason the Elks had a shot in that game last week was because Justin Rankin was running very well. This season, he has 200-plus rushing yard games. He's averaging 76 yards per game on the ground. He's got 4 touchdowns. Brady on the other side's over 1,000 yards. He finally got his first touchdowns of the season. This Winnipeg offense has been moving because of Brady. So we got 2 guys going up against each other. In theory, they're not actually going up against each other, but let's take a look at Justin Rankin. He gets his shot. How much of a change, though, is this from being a starting running back versus being the backup running back coming in?
I was somewhat joking earlier when I said heavy lies the ground.
I'm wondering.
But it's not.
Nope.
He's come in and carried the mail. He's been the guy that they've given the ball to. Usually by the second halftime, they're realizing, okay, Rankin's going, and he has been going. So they've kept feeding him the ball. And I think great for him. This helps in the offseason with having a player like Justin Rankin, who's a much less cost than Kevin Brown. I'll just say it. That makes decisions easier for your organization, and they're going to feed him the ball because he's good. He churns it up. He moves the ball. The Elks team is the lead wide rushing team now. Can you believe that?
Not from the start of this year.
If
you asked me after when they started 1-7, this team will lead the league in rushing at one point this season.
You wouldn't say that.
No, not a chance.
It's not even.
They've had to chip away a lot to get there.
Averaging 6.7 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns. Justin Rankin rushed for 157 yards last week. That is the first to rush for over 150 yards against Winnipeg since John Cornish did it in 2014. But then you got to ask: is Brady Oliveira awakened? You know, he went off last week. 2 touchdowns. No touchdowns coming into that game.
But here's where I don't think he went off. He's been putting up the numbers. He's just not getting the attention because he's not getting those touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he was easily over 100 all-purpose yards almost every single game.
He was the second leading
stretch.
rusher individually coming into last week. So I'd imagine after last week's game, he has taken over the sole possession of that.
Well, like I have, so these are my fantasy numbers. I got to look at them separately. He had over 150 yards all-purpose, 100 yards all-purpose, 120 yards all-purpose, 120 yards all-purpose, 14 yards all-purpose, 140 yards all-purpose, 100 yards all-purpose, almost 130 yards all-purpose. Then he had a soft week where he only had 50 yards all-purpose. Then he had 10 yards or 100 yards all-purpose, and then he had 130 yards all-purpose. Since week 4 of this season, or week 5 of this season, he has just consistently been getting the Bombers over 100 yards of all-purpose. He's just not getting those touchdowns.
Yeah.
And finally, he got those touchdowns last week. One of them fully in garbage time.
But
the other one,
the
one closed out, won the game. When I think that would have been the 14-10 lead.
But you still got to wonder: is that awakening another level of beast mode from Brady Oliveira to now get that nose for the touchdown? And now you never know. He was. Yeah, you're right. He was tearing it up prior to that.
Yeah.
Just no tutties. Now he's got him. And if he keeps this going, MOP talk is definitely
I think he's the leader right now. I don't know who else you'd give it to. I'm sold based on from Lucas Milligan from Saskatchewan defensively.
Yep.
But the defensive player is never going to win it. It's going to be a very hard sell to get that one sold. But, okay, so if you're the Edmonton Elks defense, we said it last week. It's not about stopping Brady. You don't stop Brady. I just went through his numbers. You're not stopping him. What do they need to do to contain him better this week? How do you contain that?
You limit it. You try to stop the bleeding. You rotate players through. Get fresh bodies out there to stay, to keep those guys moving and not get tired. You're not going to stop it.
No.
Right? It's like nobody's going to just totally stop Edmonton's run game either. It's happening. But you can limit it, right? You can limit the big play, I guess. Limit the 30-yard run.
Well, because your goal is, as a defense, you want to put the ball in Zach's hand and make him throw it and not give it to Brady.
Yep. With pressure. With pressure. Bring pressure.
Yep.
They're dressing 9 players. My God. Get pressure.
So it's going to be a fun battle on the ground that we're going to watch today. We'll see how Justin Rankin does. Well, and that's the question why I questioned what could we see from is now also Winnipeg, though, obviously you're planning for Kevin Brown and Rankin, but I'm assuming last week they spent a little bit more time on Kevin Brown. This week, they're spending a lot of time on Justin Rankin, especially after he put up that number on them. So how is he going to... How does he try to match last week? He's not getting 157 yards. I'm not going to bet right off on that. But can he go get 90, 100 yards today?
See, here's the difference.
But with the defense, with them, that's a good Winnipeg defense. I'm intrigued to see if he can go get it done against a defense that's now fully planning for him this week.
Justin Rankin will take the ball and deliver it right up Kevin Brown likes to run in between the tackles and trudge along and get those 4, 5, 6 yard carries, right? Justin Rankin will easily take it and bounce it outside. Hernan, the man, is in the house. Nice
with
hoodie.
His Elks
hoodie on. Did you work for them for a while or what?
Could have got us a hoodie, but whatever.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah. That's the difference. So if Justin Rankin...
Seats all over there. Yeah. Down there. You'll see Reed. Sorry, we got to yell at...
VR. Everybody's rolling in now. It's getting to the hot time.
It's almost like we're getting close to kickoff.
That's the question. So, okay, does BC adjust and start to take away those outside bounce outs? Winnipeg. Do they adjust and take away those outside where he press the hole and then go outside like Justin Rankin did to success? Well, this could be the opposite tonight. Maybe if they're doing that and they're stretching out their defensive ends, well, maybe that opens up the middle for Justin Rankin. Or Kevin Brown. Oh, we need a goof-up section on this show. I'm lighting it up right now, Matty.
There's just so much happening.
There's
so much happening.
Call in the reliever.
Our third story of this game for James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers, it's turnovers. And it's just outright, you can't give the ball up 6 times.
No.
You can't turn it over 6 times and expect to win a football game. What's crazy about it is how close last week's game was with, they had, 3 turnovers in the first half? Was it 4? Again, but gave up 3 points. That was it.
Yeah.
The defense did their job so well last week until finally the levee broke. And they just couldn't stop the Winnipeg Blue Bombers anymore. That Trey Ford interception that he just tried dumping and not seeing Ayers right there, that was the backbreaker. The Elks were in a position to get possibly into field goal range to take the lead in that game after having so many turnovers already. But if you're going to give the ball up 6 times and only take it away once.
Yes, that's the problem.
That turnover ratio, this is an Elks team that is now plus 11. But what was one of the biggest turnarounds of why they were 5 of 6 and now they're 5 of 7? It was the fact that they were turning the ball over and not giving it up. And last week, they couldn't take it away. Take it away, but also they gave it up a lot.
Yes.
A lot. And you just can't do that.
No, it's not a success. It's not a recipe for success. That's why we've been talking about turnover ratio all year. It's a very, very good indicator of what direction your team is heading in. Edmonton was plus 16 going into last week. Now they're plus 11. They dropped 5 points. That means your team is going the opposite direction. If they can win the turnover battle, which they were when they were successful, and I mean that
you don't even have to win it.
Sure. Don't make it a stat line then.
You could be even.
Make it a non-factor.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you, Matty.
Because look at last week. If you take away 3 turnovers and you lose that battle 3-1, I think the Elks possibly win that football game.
Sure.
But 6 of them was just too much.
And they got past a lot of them.
Yep.
It was that one play call, when they were at midfield, where they ran an offensive lineman that was going to, run for 10 yards and leaked them out of the backfield was Zott, the fullback, and I just hated the play call. Then the throw.
Well, it was a terrible decision. It was a terrible decision.
It went like this from that point on, which was downhill.
And there's your 3 stories for this game.
They got 2 sprint parks going on, Matty.
Do they have 2 sprints?
Yeah, they got Lone Star Park, and then they got Prairie Meadows.
I can't wait to find out how much I won.
I love these sprint races. These sprint races are crazy.
It's like a 100-meter dash, but horse racing style.
I love it.
I don't like betting on it. I like watching it. I'm not going to lie. That's what I learned from last week.
Is your average Canadian in the nasty chat? Major General John / Jay Milne served 38 years in the Canadian Armed Forces as a signal officer in the regular force and an armored officer in the primary reserve. Is this the same Jay as ESTJ? It is 100% not.
Yeah, that'd be pretty impressive to have served that long in the military and ran the family business.
Yeah.
And you started at 10 years old.
Yeah. Well,
in the force.
The Army takes everyone.
By the way, the Edmonton Elks, I saw this in the game notes. Their win of 5 of their last 7, it's their best stretch since the end of the 2017 season when they were 5-2.
Wow.
This run that they're on, even in last week's loss. They're on their best streak since 2017. Well, we will hear from MBT in a little bit. We'll get to our keys to an Elks victory. Jay's prediction. Were you going to say something?
I was. We've had a lot of talk about the Rouge and what's happened to the Rouge. The Rouge is back, baby. There's been 70 singles recorded in 2024.
Yeah, how many is Julian?
Well, he's probably got at least his hand in 10 of those.
I could get that for you.
There were 66 in 2023.
He's got 12.
12, yeah, there you go.
How many did you say?
I said 10.
No, how many overall?
70.
He accounts for 17% of them by himself.
There's been an average of 5.3 field goals per game, so I'm not sure if you can find something like that. The next most was 5 per game in 1991. So field goals are up. The Rouge is up. And the Elks are approaching 3 different running backs getting 500-plus yards. The last time this happened was in 1966.
Wow.
To have 3 rushers who each achieved a 500-yard mark, that's amazing.
Well, but just when you think about the overall, that's 1,500 yards.
That's a lot of yards.
That's a lot of yards.
And that's a lot less wear and tear on your body if you're splitting it over 3 guys instead of 1 guy. That was probably, would that be Normie Kwong? When did he play?
1966.
I
wouldn't know off the top of my head those years.
Donnie M in the ESPN box.
His retirement was 1960, Normie Kwong.
Okay, so it couldn't have been him. Donnie M in the ESPN box. Jay, are they dressing 8 D linemen again? No, they're not, Donnie. They're actually dressing 9. 9! What's going on? If they don't stop the run, then somebody's... Oh, my gosh, somebody's getting fired.
I do want to get to the Coolbet prop of the game, but first, I have a couple stats to throw in. I found some stats.
Yeah, I love
some
stats.
extra works. The Elks' third quarter, not good. We already knew that.
Yes.
36 points scored in the third quarter. That is the worst in the Canadian Football League. 8th is 43 points.
Oof.
So they're the only ones in the 30s still. They have given up 87 points in the third quarter, which is tied for the most. That is a minus 51 differential to start the third quarter.
Oof.
That they've got to figure out a little bit better, but third quarter scoring and giving up points in the third quarter, not a forte of this team. Here's something that we are going to watch tonight down at Princess Auto Field. The Edmonton Elks offense is the second best offense at second down conversions.
Huh.
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense, 9th best. They are the worst second down conversion offense. In fact, they're only converting 34% of their second downs when it's 4 yards or longer.
Huh.
The Elks in that time, they're 46% conversion.
See,
from 4 or longer.
It's so weird, some of these stats. They just don't make sense.
Defensively, the Edmonton Elks are the worst second down defense. They have given up 42.8% on, like, they are the, that's what it is, on 7+ yards on a second and 7 or longer. They've given up 42.8% of those conversions. They are the only defense in the 40% conversions there. Everyone else is in the 30%. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense, they are the best at stopping a team on second down.
So this is like a perfect storm.
The number 1 defense going up against the number 2 offense in second down conversions. The number 9 defense going up against the number 9 offense. Something's got to give.
Something
I
does.
didn't look too closely at what it was last week. But yeah, the Elks, they convert well, and maybe there's a key to a game coming up for me on that one.
Okay.
Coolbet prop of the game.
Well,
because it changed.
It changed.
You said based on Babbage stats.
I'm gonna ride with the new baby because he did say, let's get him an Elks W tonight. So I'm going on that, and I'm just
on the money line.
I'm taking simple money line.
So you want to know something? I was looking at that earlier because
it's plus 185.
You can look at that line's changed a little bit. You could do the double gold green and gold tonight.
You can bet U Sports on Coolbet?
Yes, you can. You did not know this? Last year we did a couple of like Oilers, Elks, Golden Bear parlays. You could, so the Golden Bears, they're taking on the Huskies.
Okay, I would take the spread and money line.
Well, I was going to say, if you do double money line, because of where the Elks are, it's plus 276.
Huh.
The Golden Bears in Saskatoon to take on the Huskies.
Which I will be watching.
If you switched it to the spread instead, that's plus 435.
Wow.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So the fact that you're taking money line, you can make a little parlay on Coolbet of the 2 green and golds today. Somebody likes that one.
I do. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I've never heard of betting on U Sports.
Well, I know it was good. So good thing you didn't know that for their first home game because they were 14-point favorites against the Dinos.
Oh.
So.
I wonder what the money line was on that. The Dinos.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. So I was looking. There's 3 I'm going to throw out there, but I'll tell you which one I'm picking in the end. We did this last week. It didn't work. But if the Edmonton Elks are going to win this football game, they're not doing it in a low-scoring game, I don't believe. Over 22.5 points for the Edmonton Elks is minus 111.
Oh, boy.
This is a team that until last week was averaging, what do we have it at, 32 points per game?
Yeah. You're not going to like my prediction.
Justin Rankin. I'm going in the order. Justin Rankin. 59.5 rushing yards is minus 110. To get just 60 yards, minus 110.
Okay.
The one I like the best, though.
I don't like either of them.
Well, you're not going to like this one then, I don't think. But the one I like best, because I think if the Elks win, it's not. I don't think it's a 13-10 football game. MBT over 1.5 touchdown throws.
I like that.
Minus 108.
I like that. That's the strongest.
I'm going to go back to what I had during the recent run MBT has had, where he went 3-1. He's thrown 9 touchdown passes. 2 in every single game except one where he threw 3. So I like the idea of MBT throwing for 2 or more touchdowns tonight at minus 108.
Too. I really like that. That's a good one.
That's the one I was walking in as my prop for the game.
I support your decision.
You didn't like those other 2.
I just think Rankin's a little, hey guys, how are you? Everybody's filtering in here.
There's a lot.
Lovely. Love it.
This is going to be a full place. It is a great Friday night.
It is great.
Dawson Nielsen.
There's the guy. He's part of the chicken wing contest.
He's in your chicken wing contest.
Yeah.
Renee was asking me about that. I said halftime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, bring him out. He's a big boy.
Bring him out. But it's not about how much you can eat.
No, it's how
quickly.
fast. Yeah.
And cleaning that bone right off. I heard Norm telling his son, he's like, you better finish that full thing because Jay's gonna. If there's any chicken on that, Jay's not gonna count.
Oh yeah, you're not allowed. Nope, it's got to be good. What do you mean, Oliviera?
What?
Can you pronounce Oliviera correctly? You make it sound like an Italian sausage.
Brady Oliviera?
You tell us, Jim Ritchie.
I struggle with that one sometimes. I don't know if I'm
that's what they say at TSN.
Oliviera?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll say this. He's my boy in terms of fantasy.
Yeah, the Dunya represents Oliviera.
I have Geno Lewis too today.
Good. I like that. Matt,
I have a lot.
Here's what I did with this team. You're going to win.
I went with the team that got me here.
Yes. Good.
There's only everyone.
Double graze.
My starter. Ooh.
Double graze.
The start I had, I only have 2 non-starters.
Double graze.
Draft. 2 and 3, was it? We got 12 minutes. We got lots of time.
Oh, my God.
Okay, we got to get to our keys to an Elks victory. We got to get to our prediction. This is the Green and Gold Kickoff Show live at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Matt Iwanyk, Jay Milne with you here. Corey B just walking in. At Century Casino, game day special. It is the quesadilla for $10.99. We got the game day special, which is the cheese and jalapeno smoky for $14.99 with waffle fries. Ken's popping by now. 6 o'clock or lager on special. It is an EST watch party. All the ESTers will be here as well, so come watch the game with us on these beautiful wall of TVs that is behind us, and stay close to Jay. He'll keep you updated on what's happening with the University of Alberta Golden Bears. To come down to Century Casino, we're just off of Fort Road on the north side. But let's now hear from the starting quarterback of your Edmonton Elks, and that is McLeod Bethel Thompson.
I sense there is some frustration here, but not discouragement, which isn't that where you want to be?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we felt like as much as we respect and you know how good Winnipeg is, we felt we let them off the hook, you know. So it was frustrating to have them come into our house and walk away with one. So now we know we got a big week ahead and a big challenge ahead, right? They're a better team at home. The crowd gets into it. It's a hostile environment. We have to go on silent cadence. We know what Willie can do with that. We know what their offense can do with their vibing off of the crowd. So we know we put ourselves in a tough spot, but at some point in this season we have to go in and beat Winnipeg, right? If it's now or if we're lucky enough to get in playoffs, it'll be later. So why not now? And it's a big week, and we're very excited.
What do you think about, I know you've played them many times, there's a lot of players on this team that have, there's some that haven't. I know Niles was talking about on the defensive side. Now they can see who they are, and when they get into the fourth quarter, they're going to use Oliveira a lot. They like playing, they have no problem playing that low event game, right? And taking the game deep into the fourth quarter that way.
Yeah, right. They know how to win, right? They've won a lot in the last 4 or 5 years, so they know how to win and they expect to win. So they start leaning on you there in the second half, and we know we have to take it from them. We have to go in their house and punch them in the mouth and continue to swing throughout the whole game. So we were very excited. We know they're a good team and they're a better team at home, and it's an awesome challenge.
What's the key against their defense? They play that heavy zone or match or whatever it is, and
Well, the key is efficiency on first down, right? We have to be able to run the ball and pass the ball efficiently on first down. Because if you get in second and long, they are DBs. There are a lot of them back there, and they all communicate really well. So the key is first down efficiency, right? You can't be in second and long, and you've proven that over and over and over again. And they shut it down a lot of teams when they get in second and long. So it's first down efficiency, and then when you do get in second and long, finding holes. You know, we have a plan to get to some holes and get some people out of their positions, but it's not easy, and it starts with first down.
Yeah. Kind of take what they give you kind of thing? Or?
Yeah, and then you find their holes when they give it to you, right? So it's a balance of both of those, right? Whether it's underneath catch and runs or find a way to get their eyes in the wrong place down the field. But, yeah, the key is first down and not put yourself in that tough situation.
Yeah. Tough for Trey. He's not the only mobile quarterback that they have made look human and keep in the pocket. What was the message to him from you about, learning from that start? And
yeah, I mean, it's just you got to be on your P's and Q's every single snap, right? They do a really good job of not only dropping a whole bunch, but having an effective three-man rush, which, it starts with Willie, and then they play off of each other really well. But effective three-man rush, getting our backs in one-on-one, even when they're only bringing 3 or 4, is hard to do, and they're really good at it. So it's about being on time and on schedule when you're pushing the ball down the field, or take what they give you early so that you can run and catch after the ball. It's just about, we had too many turnovers. That's what it comes down to. Too many turnovers, too many sloppy plays. So you can't win against Winnipeg when you do that. And heck, we had 4 turnovers, and it was a 10-10 game in the fourth quarter. So we're right there, and we just got to find a better way to be efficient early.
4 turnovers and 3-0 at the half. It's almost like it never happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we let them off the hook for sure. So we know they're a good team, and we give them all credit, but we felt like we let them off the hook for sure.
How just describe what went wrong last week and how do you fix it on a short week?
Turnovers. First of all, you can't turn the ball over. So ball security, whether it's coming out of the backfield or where it's not throwing it, to the other team, is the first thing. And then it's first down efficiency, right? So I think we had a fumbled exchange. We had a couple losses on first down where it just puts us in second and long. It's a tough situation. So I think the first thing is not turn the ball over and be efficient on first down. And then the second thing is find a way to attack their soft coverage, right? And that's easier said than done, but I think we have a good plan to do that. And like I said, we played pretty poorly, and we're right there with them in the fourth. So we think we can go in there and give them a hell of a game.
Our mics weren't on that whole time.
Okay. Well, take back what I said about MBT.
I didn't have the mics on there, so thank you to everyone saying, hey, you're not on. You're not on. Yeah. No. So at least they missed the horse talk that we had there.
They did.
Okay, what were you saying about MBT? You wanted this for MBT.
I want this for MBT. He's been criticized a lot. That was somewhat undue when they were 0-7. He didn't play terrible in all those games. He did his job. Those are not on him. I think he's been somewhat chastised here by the Trey Ford fans.
Well, the numbers to start weren't good.
Yeah, they weren't bad though, Matty. It wasn't. Don't even get me going.
It was 9-7 for TDs, interceptions.
Right, but he put them in positions to win. continually.
Until the end, and then in the last few games he did.
Okay, just want to feel good little bit of a story for MBT to just come out and prove he can win the big game.
Well, here's how I will.
Every quarterback wants that. Tonight's his night to shine. If you're going to do
Here's how
it.
I'm going to outline this. MBT comes in, he wins this football game.
Yeah.
The Edmonton Elks are feeling good, still in this playoff hunt. President gets announced the next week or so. All of a sudden, there's a long-term extension announced for Trey Ford. MBT continues this season, and this Edmonton Elks team makes the playoffs after starting 0-7. Everyone's happy.
I don't know.
MBT comes in, does well, but Trey Ford will be the starter moving forward. The future is locked in.
Hey, if you get your wishes, and Trey Ford and everybody out there that loves Trey Ford, I want to love him too. But there's not enough of a body of evidence that suggests that he is the future at quarterback for this team.
100% there is a little bit of an evidence for that.
I said body of work.
Yeah, well, the body of work of MBT I could go to is that one that got.
I'm not saying MBT is. This is MBT. I'm saying for all the Trey Ford.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll wait and see. Your keys to an Elks victory. I don't want to get into that debate. Dean Belanger is here. And his Winnipeg gear.
God, look what he's wearing.
Doesn't even say hi.
Doesn't even say hi.
Just walks by.
Walks right by.
Just walks right. We're on the air, though, right now, but walks right by. And just does nothing. Quick question.
Hey, yeah.
How do you pronounce Brady's last name? Oliveira.
Oh, so Matt Hyman was right.
Oliveira. So not Oliveira. Oliveira.
Come see, come saw. Oh, okay, Tube Socks is in the house.
Tube Socks is in the house.
Oh, all the nasties are out here. Okay, Oliveira.
Well, not everyone, because you're watching from home right now, which means you need to come to Century Casino, so we could say everyone is here. Okay,
my keys to
victory.
Protect the ball. Yeah. Protect the ball at all costs.
So turnovers.
Don't turn it over.
Yeah.
And I don't even, like you said, Matty, and before we even talked about that was what I wrote down.
That's the only thing that
so
that is the biggest key to the game.
Don't even say, hey, we need 3 turnovers.
Just protect it.
Just protect it on your side.
I don't want
that thing.
I don't want to go there because you're going there. So the other thing I will say is, if you want to contain Brady, it's that first down stop. Get that first down stop.
And I'd say you're right.
Keep it nice in 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6s, and put the ball in Zach's hands. I just went through the Winnipeg's offense when it comes to 2nd down conversions. 9th. They are not good on 4+ yards on second conversion.
That's a great stat find, I got to say.
That is the one I will say. If you want the key to this, it's protect the ball, but it's also keep the Bombers in 2nd and longs. They can't hand it off to Brady. Maybe they can dump it off occasionally, but they can't hand it off to him. And they're putting in the hand in Zach's hands. And what we know from the Bombers this year, that is not their strength.
Right.
So that's a way to possibly win this football game. Edmonton Elks. Winnipeg Blue Bombers coming up just after 6 o'clock down in Winnipeg, or you can come watch it here at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, where every day is game day. That's coming up on TSN, and you know where to go once that game ends. It's to come back right here to Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, as Jay and I will be back on the air with the Green and Gold post-game show. Until then, enjoy this football game. Hopefully we see you down here at Century. Until then, have a great evening. Talk to you on the post-game show.